Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's bird video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10-14 days for today's bird video. Day 10 will take us to the 17th of January. And we'll be able to extend out beyond that with Essential Affairs and ECM Ensembles. Maybe in a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at the CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks. Yes, the CFS Weeklies are back. And I shall get on with that for you in a moment. Just to say, that first video release today was our 6M UK weather forecast. We've also released the first update for spring 2023. The long range bandwagon is starting to ride again, and there's big news, big developments on Fluffy. So make sure you have a look at the first spring update. I'm going to be live at 6 PM with Ensembles Watch. So we'll go through all of the GFS Ensembles. We'll have a look at 12Z. Probably have some long range, and we'll see what the snow prospects are looking like over the next few days as the weather is getting colder as well. So it'll be a little bit of a 12Z update, Ensembles Watch, and Snow Watch with a bit of long range thrown in. Going to be a fun live stream. That'll be coming up at 6 PM. So I shall see you later on for that one. Please like, share, subscribe, and all today's videos and content. Thanks so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, we're going to start off with Arctic Oscillation Observed and Forecast chart. So the black line shows we've been with the AO, the red lines at the M, with the GFS Ensembles and Forecast with the Arctic Oscillation to go. We're currently negative with the AO just here. I've been generally quite positive with it back into the autumn, although we did go negative around the beginning of December when we had that cold snap at the end of November, start of December. But through second half of December, we went very positive with the AO, actually, although dropped down negative around the New Year. We're hovering around negative at the moment. We're going to be staying negative with the Arctic Oscillation through in the second half of January. Maybe just a little bit of a recovery back towards neutral by the very end of the chart there, but overall negative with the AO. It tells us that the blocking signal has increased, and there is a blocking signal, you know, over the high latitude. So it's always the weather that's driving the index. When the AO goes negative like that, it's happening because there's blocking over the Arctic and North Pole, and blocking is the rich getting cold air out of the pole and down into mid latitudes. Of course, the key with that is where the blocking is sitting in terms of who's going to get the cold coming out. So the AO has actually been negative since the New Year, but we've been very mild for the start of January, as we know. So obviously the blocking hasn't been in a position up to this point to deliver anything cold for us, but that might change in a few days' time. Well, it's turning cooler already, of course. This is how the NAO is looking. So again, black line shows where we've been with the North Atlantic Oscillation. Red lines at the end where the GFS Ensembles are forecasting the NAO to go. Been in a long-term negative phase, really. With negative with the NAO through most of the autumn, the odd exception here and there. We did go very positive with the NAO in the second half of December, but soon back into negativity again around the New Year. And where we are right now is actually very negative with North Atlantic Oscillation. GFS Ensembles are forecasting the NAO will stay negative, very negative up to the middle of January, and then try and recover back towards neutral by the very end of the chart there. So with both of the indexes in negative territory, you would assume this is a signal for colder weather. So we'll go through the chart data later and see, you know, and see whether we are indeed going to be getting some colder weather. As I said, it's cooler already, and we'll be turning even colder as the east wind picks up through tonight and into tomorrow, particularly down in the south. Central temperature is sitting at 8.2, that is 4.4 degrees above 61 to 99 average. Quite surprised, that's some provisionals yesterday, quite surprised that didn't drop yesterday. I thought it felt quite cold here in the towers in Northants, but I think that's unchanged from yesterday, so a little bit surprised it didn't drop, but I'm sure it will start coming down quite soon. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles the next couple of weeks. Red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Nottingham, another suggested location for this part of the video. So at the moment, hold on. There you go, so sorry everybody. At the moment, we are below average with the upper air temperature. We're already quite cold. We're going to go a bit colder in the next 24 hours or so. Mostly the upper air temperature is lifting up around the middle of the second half of the coming week. It will be under high pressure though, so not necessarily all that mild on the surface. And then we see quite a significant drop in the upper air temperatures again as we go to the middle and second half of January. Pretty good agreement actually, but it could turn cold, even very cold, for a while through the middle part of the month and into the third week of January, before maybe we see a recovery taking place as we get towards the final week of the month. Possibly see those upper air temperatures coming back up towards average. Very dry as well, so we're out of the deluge now. The next week certainly is looking very, very dry. Does turn much more unsettled here through the extended range of ensembles. So like into the third week of January, it looks more unsettled there. But of course, that's a long way off, and I wouldn't necessarily take that overly seriously. Snow row for Nottingham looks like that. So not much going on, but there could be a few flakes coming in with the easterly wind. Sort of tomorrow night-ish and Tuesday. We'll have a look at that when we're live later on. But really it's dry over the next week or so. However, we do have some big precipitation spikes for Nottingham appearing there into the second half of the month. So, once again, maybe we're going to see things turning more unsettled. And if it's cold enough, some snow coming through into the second half of January. Again, that is a long way off though, and therefore in the unreliable time frame of the GFS and its ensemble. Now, I just want to have a very quick look at the ECM ensemble as well, so we can do that. Let's see how that's shaping up also. Is that right? 850 on precipitation. Right, okay, so ECM ensemble's looking like that. So starting off, that's a 6 set, isn't it? Hold on, I'm going to go to the midnight run. That looks better, right? I couldn't work out what's happening there. Right, yeah, that's what we want to look at. So starting off colder than average, in agreement with GFS, then coming up and going milder through the middle part, second half of this week. And then after that, signalling a drop. Again, there is more scatter, though, into that middle and second half of January with the ECM ensembles compared to the GFS. So it looks like the ECM also wants to turn things colder, really, into that middle to just into the second half of January period. But there are more ensemble members up here that are keeping things milder. So the ECM ensemble is not quite as convinced as the GFS about the chance of some cold or even very cold weather around the 15th to the 17th or 18th of January. Right, temperature anomalies from the 7th to the 15th of January, coming out below average. It will be colder than an average week to come. Precipitation anomalies from the 7th to 15th of January, they're coming out drier than normal. The latest info map from earth-nullschool.net shows that we've got high pressure taking over now, so low pressure in the Atlantic finally being blocked off as high pressure takes over across much of northern and west Europe. That's beginning to get the wind into the east there, starting to turn the wind into an easterly across northern and western parts of Europe. Okay, let's start going through chart data then. This is our latest UK Met Euro run is looking for midnight on Wednesday. High pressure is dominating. We're still bringing quite a cold east wind down in the south. And then we go through into the second half of next week. High pressure sits around the country really through most of the week before starting to go into retrograde. So by the time we get through the midnight Sunday, as far as we get to the UK Met, looks like we're about to start trying to pull down a cold northerly wind. That high pressure looks like it is successfully retrograding to Greenland and Iceland. He's off again. I can't, looks like that. So the UK Met is mostly dry, settled and quite cold and is poised to deliver a much colder northerly bite next weekend. I can't again with wind in from the east on Wednesday. That looks quite chilling for Wednesday, and then into Thursday and Friday, high pressure remaining in control of the country. Won't be quite as cold for the second half of the week. That's how the upper air temperatures lift up, because we bring in the wind from like a northeasterly direction. But you see around the top of the high, the isobar is like coming in from the northeast. But if you follow it back, you can see that actually the air originates around from the Atlantic, comes around the top of the high and into the country like that. So actually there is moderation to that northeast. It's not coming from a cold source, it's actually coming from an Atlantic-based source. So that's the reason that the upper air temperatures lift up. Nevertheless, because we're under high pressure, it probably will still be quite cold, especially in the northern half of the country, under the centre of high pressure. I think that's expect quite a lot of frost and fog into the second half of the week. What does Icon do about high pressure? Does it send it into retrograde? So it does push it up towards Greenland around next weekend. Starts to move the high pressure to Greenland. Iceland begins to hint to open the door to those northerly winds. That's how it's set up by the 14th of January. Again, northeasterly winds possibly bring some snow showers into northern and eastern parts of the country. Bishlow is quite interesting down here. Is that going to try and push up into the cold air and deliver a snow event? Be interesting to ponder. This other KMA is looking. So the Icon also successfully sending a high pressure into retrograde by next weekend. KMA looks like that. Again, high pressure dominates the weather. And I think KMA is colder actually as we go through the next few days as well. We don't really get all that much of that sort of northeasterly. It keeps the wind in from a colder easterly type source, I think. Anyway, what does it do with high pressure? It does move it into retrograde as well, so we start putting in some much colder air from the north and from the northeast by the end of next weekend. So turning a lot colder, snow showers piling into the north and the east in particular. Staying cold, actually, throughout most of next week. Low pressure tries to attack from the Atlantic, but is blocked off. So the KMA keeps it cold right the way up to the 19th of January. And these low pressures are trying to come in, as I say, from the Atlantic, trying to turn it milder, coming up against that cold air. There would be the threat with that of a snow event, potentially. So the KMA looking really quite cold and wintry from next weekend onwards. Right, okay, we have a GFS midnight run is looking. Again, high pressure dominates the weather through the rest of this week. Does it get the high pressure into retrograde? Yes, it does. It pushes it up to Greenland and Iceland next weekend. Starts to open the door to those colder northerly winds by 10 cells iceberg getting into northern parts of Scotland. They're proper northerly as we get through to Tuesday the 16th of January. Again, by 10 cells iceberg flooding southwards across the country. So bitterly cold air, and there will be the risk of snow, particularly in northern and eastern regions with that. Then the high pressure begins to start breaking down, though. The block begins to break down. We're a long way out now, though. This is 300 hours away, Friday 19th of January. These ones will always try to revert back to the default pattern, which is west-south-westerly, and that is indeed what the GFS midnight run does. So eventually turns milder, wetter and windier again. Perhaps quite stormy from off the Atlantic, but does have a really quite a potent cold blast starting next weekend there. GFS 6Z again looks much this Wednesday. High pressure dominating the weather through the rest of the week. Mostly dry, quiet weather. Finally, we're out of the deluge. The high pressure then pushes up towards Greenland, Iceland. Down comes this northerly next weekend. Bitterly cold northerly winds setting in as we go through Monday. Again, by 10 cells iceberg flooding southwards by Monday 15th of January. This is only 1 week tomorrow, remember, so it's getting a little bit closer now. Still in a semi-unreliable time frame, but it is getting closer. That's Tuesday the 16th of January. Look at that, my 10 cells iceberg right way through the country down into France there. So bitterly cold air and definitely risk of snow, particularly for northern and eastern parts of the country. The high pressure then begins to weaken just after day 10. So it keeps it cold up to the 18th of January, but by then the high pressure breaks down, low pressure back in from off the Atlantic, returned by a wet, windy, maybe stormy there by the end of the GFS 6Z run. Again, that is a long way off of this kind of pattern. So let's wait and see where we go with that. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, subscribe. Make sure you share everyone for doing that. Why not drop a comment? Let us know what you think about this all about video. Don't forget to tell friends about GavsWeatherVids. Thank you so much everyone for doing that. We need to put on around, I think we're going to put on around 45 subscribers now, less than 50, to get to 17.7k, I think. So if you could give us a sub, tell your friends about to subscribe. It would be incredible. Thank you so much everyone for doing that. Right, okay, high pressure remains in control of weather with GEM on Wednesday. And the high pressure moves northwards as we go through Thursday into Friday. We push the high pressure further out into retrograde through next weekend. Northerly winds beginning to set in by Saturday night into Sunday. Next week, colder air starting to drift southwards with risk of snow showers as well. And then the GM goes into a very cold spell, actually. Out of all model alpha, I think the GM is the most severe for days 8, 9, 10. Look at this northerly, but the GM is shown there on the 16th of January. High pressure blocking out to our west as well. Excuse me, the minus 10 south iceberg pulling southwards across the country. And that is day 10, Wednesday 17th of January. There's some sort of disturbance, maybe a polar low or something coming southwards within that cold northerly wind. So the GM isn't quite as severe as the GFS 6 with minus 10 Celsius iceberg, actually. So that had the minus 10 Celsius iceberg clearing the country, you'll remember. However, I think from an overall locked-in cold pattern, the GM is the most severe out of all of the model output but today. There will be no quick way out of that, and this feature coming southwards here will be delivering a lot of snow with it as well, so quite an exciting, if you like, cold snow GM. And then finally we've got the ECM at WF, which has been a little bit of a Grinch model just lately with this northerly. It hasn't really gone with it with a great deal of conviction, except on a couple of runs a few days ago. Let's see what we're doing today. So it starts off with high pressure dominating the weather, high pressure rains in control into the weekend, starting to move out into retrograde, or trying to, but, you know, not really doing it very half-hearted with it, so the ECM just not there, is it, in getting that high pressure up to green. We do turn a bit colder, though, next weekend, but it's not anywhere near as interesting from retrograding that high pressure as all of the other model output. However, it does somehow manage to finish up with a northerly, so by day 10 we do actually go into a cold northerly blast there, not by any particularly high amounts of northern blocking, but it's nevertheless it still manages to push cold air southwards. So by day 10, minus 10 Celsius iceberg is coming down into Scotland. But I think out of all model output, the ECM, or today's model output, the ECM is the less convincing with this cold spell, excuse me again, and northerly blast. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Temp.com. There's a list of some wintry showers, some snow flows, some snow showers into the south and southeast through tomorrow. We'll have a look at that in a little bit more detail on Snow Watch. Now, well, I don't think it's going to be much, but if you get a stream of setting up through Thames estuary or around Kent, then some places might get a covering of snow out of that. But otherwise, we're mostly dry for the next several days, actually. Only when we get to the very, very end of the ECM run, we start getting some precipitation, a little bit of snow down in the south there by the 16th of January, and then opening the doors to those northerly winds and snow showers into the northern half of the country. This is the option on the table within the ECM Ensemble Day 4, Day 10. Gets to the 17th of January from the Icelandic Met Office. 51 out of 51 members of the ECM Ensemble. It's looking cold, actually. A bit surprised about that. Low pressure to our east, high pressure blocking in the Atlantic. Winds coming in from a cold northerly direction. Now, we all want to turn it cold and maybe doing so a little bit later, but most of the other model output, most of the options turn things colder. By 2 weeks out, but we're back into milder weather. This is the 22nd of January. 19 members of the ECM Ensemble. Try saying January when you're about half your tongue cuts out. 19 members of the ECM Ensemble looking mild, wet, windy. 18 with high pressure to the south and low pressure to the north, winds coming in from a west-southwesterly direction. That's by the 2. And then 14, though, tries to keep it a bit cold with blocking signals, you know, still to the north generally. So it'll reduce blocking, but those 14 there probably trying to hang on to the colder conditions. So it does look as though we're probably going to be turning things milder by the time we get towards the end of the 3rd week of January. Said it all right that time, didn't I? Right, CFS, the CFS Weeklies are back, everyone. So these are 500 millibar high tonight. It's broken down into weekly periods. So the first weekly period takes us from the 7th to 30th of January. But next week we'll have high pressure to the north, low pressure to the south, winds coming in from an easterly direction. So looking blocked and cold for week 1. Week 2 also looks cold. This is the 14th to the 20th of January. Again, high pressure is blocking to the north, low pressure to the south and the east, winds coming in from a northeasterly direction. Week 3 sees a big change. It's going to be the 21st to the 27th of January, with high pressure then going to the south and low pressure way to the northwest. So we flip it and go into west-southwesterly there. And then finally, week 4 hints that it might start getting colder again. This is the 28th of January to the 3rd of February, with high pressure then pulling out into the Atlantic heading up towards Greenland. Low pressure in over Scandinavia. That hints the wind side to go back into potentially a colder northwesterly. Again, could that be setting up a colder pattern once more for February? We shall see. Temperature anomalies with the CFS for week 1. Look at this, colder than average. You don't see that all that often with the CFS, but below average temperatures from the 7th, 13th of January. Most parts of Europe looking very cold as well. Week 2 is the 14th to the 20th of January. Also looking colder than average. Again, most parts of Europe looking cold. Much of America looking really cold as well. So cold into both sides of the Atlantic via this extensive northern blocking pattern. Week 3 sees a very significant change. This is the 23rd, 27th of January, milder than average in this week. And then week 4 actually keeps it milder than average. It's going to be the 28th of January to the 3rd of February with above average temperatures there. CFS overall for February today looks like that. Still quite a block scenario. High pressure centering in the North Atlantic up towards Iceland and Greenland. That should bring in cold east-northeasterly winds. The temperature anomaly is about average, a little bit colder than average across northern parts of Europe, and precipitation anomalies, not much of a signal. Well, we've got enough to worry about anyway before we worry too much about February. Right, but Daddy, if you've enjoyed the video, please you like, share, subscribe, make sure everyone forward you about. Why not drop a comment, let us know what you think about this and all of our bids, and don't forget to tell friends about GavsWeatherVids. We thank you so much, everybody, for doing that for us. Thank you so much, everyone. I said around 45, less than 50 subscribers are going to get us to 17.7k. So if you could give us a sub, that'd be incredible. And thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Right, okay. So I'll just tell you what's coming up on the channel. No, well, tell you what's coming on the channel tomorrow, but don't forget we're live at 6 p.m. So that's the first thing to say. Yeah, we are going to be live at 6 with Ensembles Watch, looking at 12Z, do a little mini snow watch as well. So that's coming up this evening. Tell you what's coming up on the channel tomorrow, 6 a.m. forecast, and 10 to 14 day. Almost a little bit quiet today on a Monday on GavsWeatherVids. We might do a little snow watch. I'll see. Depends if there's enough showing up, you know, to warrant that for the southeast corner. But we may have a little snow watch tomorrow. Right, okay, so that's planned for tomorrow. We're back at 6 p.m. with our live stream, so I shall see you a little bit later on for that. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon, and for this one, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.